And look, let me be the first to say, I'll play any game that lets me role play as Tupac or intimidate Vanilla Ice and hang him over the balcony as Suge Knight. I'm here for all of that. If that's what Death Row Games is, sign me up right now.
Right. And welcome back. This is Rejuvenile Delinquency. I'm your host, Cassius Clay, and I'm joined as always by my
How's it
co-host.
going, everybody? How you doing, my man?
Yo, doing good, brother, doing good. I guess another successful Game
Yeah,
Awards
that was
in
fun.
the can.
I have to say it's the first one I've watched all the way through. I've usually caught bits and pieces, but it was a really fun to kind of go through that and get some live reactions. I had a good time.
Yeah, I definitely think this is one of the better ones that I've seen so far.
Well, I'm
It was
glad
pretty
I was
good.
able to catch it there.
I think
Yeah,
Jeff Keighley
the
outdid
man
himself on that one.
himself, the legend.
This is a general wrap up for you guys in case you couldn't watch the Game Awards or if you didn't even know they had a Game Awards. We got you. In case you missed it, Game Awards 2024. The Game Awards 2024 was a night to remember, packed with exciting announcements and well-deserved accolades. Astrobot took home the coveted Game of the Year award along with 3 other wins. Naughty Dog unveiled their new game, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, which promises an epic space adventure. The Witcher 4 was officially revealed, featuring Ciri as the new protagonist. Elden Ring Night Reign, a co-op spin-off, was announced, adding a new twist to the beloved game. Other highlights include the return of Okami and Onimusha. Those are old school Capcom things. And the first ever Game Changers Award, which went to Amir Satbat for his work in helping laid off developers find new opportunities. It was a night full of surprises and celebrations, showcasing the best of what the game industry had to offer. Now, let's talk about what we liked and what we didn't.
So for me, my first thing I really enjoyed is the announcement by CD Projekt Red's The Witcher 4. I am a big fan of that series. I binged the show when as soon as actually I watched it late, but I really been playing The Witcher 3, and so I kind of went back watched the show. But anyway, The Witcher 4 is going to be a single-player open-world RPG from Project Red, and it's a start of a new saga. So everyone knows you play as Geralt and the other ones, but you'll be taking on the role as Ciri, a professional monster slayer, and she's embarking on a new journey. But I'm really excited to see it. It's powered by Unreal Engine 5. It looks beautiful, and they aim to be the most immersive and ambitious open-world Witcher game to date. So I highly recommend checking out that trailer, and I am super excited about it.
Yeah, no, I couldn't be more excited about The Witcher hitting back. That last one was definitely a home run for CD Projekt Red, which enabled them to do one of my favorite games as well, too, the Cyberpunk 2020. And I remember when CD Projekt Red was a small studio, man, but they're major heavyweights now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
RPG.
I didn't realize for a really long time that they were the same studio, Cyberpunk and The Witcher.
Okay, yeah. Definitely for my best trailer and best thing in from the awards was a team that I'm a super big fan of, and I thought it was the funniest trailer that showed up there. It is the Outer Worlds 2 from Obsidian. Some of you guys may have seen the trailer. It starts off with the guys that brought you Neverwinter Nights 2. And Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 and Fallout 3 2 bring you another part 2. So if you know Obsidian, they're
I really do
super funny, and you know it's crazy because they're actually the original team that created Fallout, which is why their Fallouts are so good. It's going to be on all consoles and everything. It's also going to be, if you've never played the Outer Worlds 1, it's basically their take, since they don't own Fallout anymore, it's their take of Fallout, but basically in space. So if you love what Obsidian does, and they've got Avowed coming out early next year, I think in February, which is another great one. That's their Elder Scrolls in their Pillar of Eternity's universe. But these guys, you can't find a bad Obsidian RPG. And they've done a lot of the best ones that we like that were bangers. They're super funny, and I cannot wait to play this game.
I loved their trailer was amazing. It was the perfect amount of comedy, but it showed some really good gameplay, and it was a fun way to do it for sure.
And like I said, I'm surprised because they already have a game coming out early February, which is Avowed, and they just put out the game Grounded too, which is basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids a couple of years ago, and that's doing really good. And I heard that there's going to be a Netflix adaptation.
So they're killing
it. Doing with that too. So Obsidian, man, they're on fire. They're literally one of the best studios running. If you like Fallout, and it is exactly that, it's Fallout in space.
Right up my alley.
Crazy.
In fact,
it's like you go to a universe, and what happens if a corporation like owns the entire universe? And that's basically the premise for the Outer Worlds. Like, there are these corporations, and they're absolutely ridiculous in that Fallout way that everybody loves about Fallout.
One is gonna be I would call it my biggest, I thought was a great surprise. And this was an announcement from Naughty Dog. If you don't know Naughty Dog, there's a ton of great games. They're really good at narrative-driven content. We're talking The Last of Us. Oh my goodness. They've released that game like 8 times, and I know people who bought every version just because they want to play it on each system. And of course, you have the series with our adventurer friend Nate with Uncharted. But this one is called Intergalactic, The Heretic Prophet. A completely new franchise, and I highly suggest you check out the video. But yeah, I'm really excited for this one. I love their storytelling, and seeing them do something in space. Speaking of space, I'm a huge space nerd. I guess we'll leave it at that.
Little fact about Naughty Dog too. They're the original Crash Bandicoot guys. So with PlayStation's 30th anniversary, if you enjoyed where Crash used to be the original Crash Bandicoot guy, that's why Uncharted was such a crazy surprise. It's like,
I forgot about that.
Bandicoot guys?
There's a little fun Easter egg in one of the Uncharted games where you can go and play Crash Bandicoot, and it's like a full level. I would say that was my first interaction with Naughty Dog. I played so many of the Crash Bandicoot games. Also,
another thing I liked about that too is they got Trent Reznor and the 9 Inch Nails team doing the music for this game.
That's going to be super immersive. The Intergalactic game stars a new protagonist, Jordan A. Munn. They're a dangerous bounty hunter. They've gotten stranded on this planet called Sempira. It's a distant planet whose communication with the outside universe has gone dark hundreds of years ago. In fact, anyone who's flown to it hoping to unveil any of the mystery has never been heard from again. So as Jordan, you have to use all their skills as she hopes to be the first person over 600 years to leave its orbit. So that should be an interesting adventure.
All right. So I guess that means it's my turn on this, and my biggest surprise out of the show was the return of Virtua Fighter. I absolutely didn't see that coming. There was other thing I almost put Split Fiction. I didn't realize that was here, but that's not as much of a surprise as the fact that Virtua Fighter is back. Sega is once again throwing its hat back into the ring to take on the likes of Mortal Kombat, Tekken, and Street Fighter, which are all 3 games I have. I literally bought Tekken 8 again last night. I was always going to buy it all year. Yeah, I've been buying. I've become a much bigger fighting game fan, especially as I've gotten older. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that like fighting games are so easy to jump in and out of. You know, fights don't really last that long and things of that nature, so it's kind of easy to get in and get out. We've just been eating as fighting fans right now. Sega is on a bit of an intentional roll. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not. They've hired a new transmedia boss. They're going back to a lot of, and they've already said they're opening a bunch of their old beloved stuff. Like Crazy Taxi is coming back. Virtua Fighter, I guess, is coming back. Just a bunch of their old stuff that we liked. They kind of realized what they're doing and they're coming back. So Sega is back in fashion, guys. And yeah, Virtua Fighter was my biggest surprise.
They could be a nostalgia machine. They have so much stuff in the backlog, Sega. But yeah, speaking of classics, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump right into, for me, Turok. So, and it's one of those games that I was never good at. It was one of those games that was too hard for me at the time, but it was just a game I was always fascinated with. One, I love dinosaurs, and again, space and kind of futuristic, but also this like futuristic, but prehistoric history.
Oh yeah.
Big fan. So that would, I'd say for me, Something I'm excited about. That's like something that you would think was a classic. I think
It's a
the
huge
biggest
classic.
one for me that I played was on the Nintendo 64.
Turok 64, bro.
Like maybe I'm remembering it, but when I was a kid, it was like intense. It was like very like I want to say maybe
No,
borderline a little
it
scary
was a
because you're
super
like,
tough game back then.
yeah,
And yeah, getting chased by raptors and all that. Like, yeah, it's one of the bigger franchises. Crazy that it's kind of been, dormant for so long, really, because it's been so good.
now it's its chance to be revived.
So I'm super excited about that. Everything. Who saw Turok coming back?
That was definitely a surprise, but also some classic rebirth
But
there.
okay. So for my blast in the past, I decided to do Ninja Gaiden or Ninja Gaiden. Not really sure. We've been fighting about this for years. It seems
Yeah,
like
I
Rage
always feel like
Bound.
it's Gaiden. I don't know. They both work for me.
I think I've always called it Ninja Gaiden, but maybe it's Ninja Gaiden, and not sure really in at all. But it
Let
was
us know in the
definitely
comments
my
if you
blast from
know.
the past. For sure, for sure. If you guys know, type correct pronunciation down there for us. It was really cool. It's a throwback from the past because not only that, it's kind of Ninja Gaiden, but done in the style of the old school Segas all over the show. But the old school Sega Shinobi games. So that's really crazy. And the company doing it, Dotemu, which is this French-based company, I believe, if I'm right, DOTE, basically the word do and Timo. I know you guys know how to spell Timo. I know you know how to spell Timo. Stop buying shit from Timo. But they're on a little bit of a roll right now, right? They're doing some really good stuff. They did a couple years ago. They did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, kind of old school beat 'em up, and before that, they did the Streets of Rage 4 remake, and they nailed both of those. Kind of brought the classic beat 'em up brawler back, and now it seems they're gonna kind of go back to the old school ninja kind of Metroidvania games with a Ninja Gaiden. And fun fact, it does not star franchise protagonist Ryu Hayabusa. I've seen him. He's in the trailer. If you guys are looking at the trailer, we're probably playing it now on there for you guys. He's in the trailer, but just like the new Witcher, there's a brand new kind of protagonist, I think, kind of taking over this specific story. So I'm super excited to see what goes on. Ninja Gaiden in the style of Shinobi with the hitmakers from France, Dotemu, and that is my blast from the past.
It's a good one. That's another game I played like as a young lad. There's one more that's just an honorable mention here. The game itself doesn't have an official name, but it's being called Project Robot. And
Nice.
this is from Ico and the Shadow of Colossus' developers, Gen Design.
Yeah.
And if we're showing the teaser right now, there's just something about this teaser, this world they're creating that I'm fascinated with. I always see, like, if you've ever played Shadow of the Colossus, the whole kind of strategy is you are fighting these giant monoliths of creatures. You're climbing up them and you're fighting them. I think there's 9 of them in total. But like even some of like the design of as this character's climbing up this robot or some kind of tech. That's all I needed. I'm excited for it. But yeah, just wanted to throw that in there.
Also,
Yep.
stop buying shit from Timo.
Yes.
You know who
I agree.
you are.
It's
Okay,
not me.
let me do an honorable mention too as well. Then I will throw in the great Split Fiction. We'll probably talk about it here later into my notes too. But that's from the same team that brought you guys No Way Out and the excellent It Takes Two about the family that was divorced and had to work together with the husband and the wife. And they just make fantastic games. They come from a super passionate developer. He's the guy that said,
Fuck the Oscars.
and he's just always super passionate, and he makes these games where they're co-op based, so you can't play them alone because both of you have to work together to complete the entire game. They're these co-op experiences, and not enough people focus on that kind of stuff. So always super excited about seeing anything from them. And now they're in space with Split Fiction. Sounds great.
I'm a big fan of him. Not gonna lie, I didn't know much about him until the Game Awards, but after seeing his speech and his passion and just, you can tell he was like an underdog himself, and now he's having a moment to like really show his work off.
All right. Well, we talked about what we liked. Let's go on a little bit more down the road into what we didn't like.
All right. I don't know how controversial this is. I've been seeing it elsewhere. I might just be complaining, but I'm going to just start off with the big one for me. But I'm going to come back later with some redemption. But that is the Game of the Year winner, Astrobot. I'll give it to them for they've been out for a while. This isn't the first Astrobot game. They've kind of been a staple when it comes to like being released alongside PlayStation. I'm a PlayStation boy through and through. Don't get me wrong, but some of the other games they were in competition with, I just didn't understand the decision. It makes me think, who is voting for this? Who makes the decisions of the Game of the Year winner? Is it just Jeff Keighley? Love you too, Jeff, but like, let us know. Let the community, let the Rejuveniles vote next time to pick these games. I don't know if it's going to be, if it would have been Astrobot. With that being said, the speech given by the director of Astrobot, let me see, his name is Nicholas Doucette. I have to give mad props. Like, everything he said from the heart, I really enjoyed what he had to say. He hit on a lot of like some of like the negative stuff that's in the industry, some of the soullessness you see in certain genres. But then you have a lot of passion. Then he brought up his love for Nintendo. And yeah, I think there's just something very special about someone like that in that industry and who really cares about what he's doing. And so congratulations on the win. However, I think it should have went to another game.
I do too, but I'll talk about that later.
How about yourself? What about the awards felt cringy to you?
Well, this was the 10th anniversary of the Video Game Awards, and if you guys have been watching for as long as I've been watching, you guys remember Sam Jackson at the Video Game Awards way back when it was still on Spike TV.
Get that nasty shit out of my face!
You know, but this thing has always provided us with plenty of what the
What are you looking at?
moments, right? What about that weird kid like here that ran on stage?
To nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton.
You remember that? Okay. Do you remember the guy that we talked about early when he said this?
Fuck the Oscars!
Right? Or what about the really abnormally super long speech by the voice of Kratos, who knew that they were trying to push him off stage and he kept going anyway, baby? You remember that? Where was that at this year? No weird stuff. It almost felt like a real game award show or some other kind of award show. And I just got to say that even though there were some awkward celebrity moments, tease, talking about that next. I don't know where the hell the really cringe stuff came from or where it went. The stuff that we loved, the good old moments that made you say, you know, I don't really game that much in front of your partner. There was a real lack of that this year, and I don't know where that went. And I was kind of missing it, my man. 3RL, no crazy stuff. It was almost a
It was
regular
almost
show.
Yeah, that is true.
That was my first though with the F moment. How about back to you?
I think not what the F moment, but just a funny moment for me. One, I think it's cool. We'll say this: the Snoop Dogg rolled out his own gaming company, so we'll see where that goes. But he had a comment that was like, he was saying something to someone, and the crowd was like, "Where's your game? What about your game?" He's like, "I don't got one yet." So I was just like, it's just one of those moments. That family, and I'm glad his son's involved. That's cool.
Right.
So I'm interested to see where that goes. But it wasn't like what the F or a weird moment. It was just one of those like, oh, cool, they're getting involved too. But I did appreciate his commentary.
I beg to differ though. I definitely think it was a little bit of qualifies for a what the F moment, because that's right. Death Row Games. There's Death Row Records, and now there's Death Row Games, if we believe the Snoop Dogg family. And look, let me be the first to say, I'll play any game that lets me role play as Tupac or intimidate Vanilla Ice and hang him over the balcony as Suge Knight. I'm here for all of that. If that's what Death Row Games is, sign me up right now.
I would love, that'd be a great game. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that is right. But both of us it's a co-op. They like split fiction, and we're both hanging on Vanilla Ice off of a balcony saying, sign over the rights to your song, God damn it. Death Row, and then at the end you get a Death Row record chain. Amazing. Okay. Well then, my other awkward celebrity moment was I don't know how to say this, but bringing out Harrison Ford. That's right. It was crazy. I love Harrison Ford, and we all love Han Solo, especially in this community, right? I mean, Han Solo's like the original Rejuvenile, right? Space Rejuvenile, right? I don't know if this was the right venue for him. If you see how he kind of came out, didn't really look like he was all too knowing, even what a video game awards season was. I'm not really sure why he was there. I think it has something to do with what I'm going to talk about next. But it was really one of those awkward celebrity moments that the Game Awards is kind of usually known for. Do you guys remember Al Pacino? Exactly.
I mean, Harrison Ford is 82 years old, so he is,
He looked
you
it.
know, sorry, Harrison, a senior citizen these days. So, but
He
again,
looked it.
we
It looks past
appreciate
his
all you've done.
bedtime. Right.
Jeff probably was.
All right, toss it back to you, man. You got one more for us?
Yeah, everything Balerto.
Yeah. I was
So-
waiting for you to do the Balerto thing.
I don't know. I guess there's a concept of like, it's like deck building but with poker. So maybe, and again, this is coming from like I haven't done enough research about this. So maybe it's a fun game. But this is like solitaire winning game awards.
Balerto is no joke. I never played it. I don't know what's going on with it. It's sort of like I remember when that game that was in The Witcher became like its own game and started
Yeah.
and became a little
called-
bit of an obsession.
It's called Gwent in Witcher, and I
Right.
just never. I skip every mission that has to do with that dumb card game. But yes,
This is another Gwent kind of thing. This Balerto thing, and I don't know that apparently these deck building games though have taken over the world. And it's surprising this coming from you, the Pokemon card game.
I know. I was just gonna say, as I've been obsessively playing Pokemon Trade Card Pocket, but maybe
Is that what this is really about? Is this a hit piece for anybody coming for your favorite card game? Could that be what this
Right.
is about?
There was
You out
not
there
one
putting in
mention.
the work for Team Pokemon?
Not one mention of Pokemon card game anywhere in the Game Awards. But
He's absolutely sick about it, ladies and gentlemen. He is sick.
but anyway, I just don't understand. But apparently it's
I
doing
get
really
it.
well and very popular. So I'll give him that. But
I get
that's
it.
my last rant, which is why this game.
Okay. And
You show
I
a
guess for
clip
my
of
last
why it's so
round
exciting,
on
I
this
guess.
theme, and I think that'll bring me into my last what the F here. And I want to talk about missed opportunities. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Right now, that's a big game out on Xbox, made from Machine Games and doing great from the old maker of the Wolfenstein guys. But it's from the same team, they're Starbreeze, that did the first kind of first-person really big game way back in the day, which was the Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay. Anybody who remembers that? It's
Oh, I
super
played that
old school,
game.
but
I
it was
played that entire
amazing
game.
at the time.
Yeah.
It was jaw dropper. It was back when licensed games still weren't good like they are today. That was one of the first good licensed
Yeah,
games. It came from a
agreed.
Riddick game, but
I
it came from this really weird developer.
I
That's
wanted
these guys.
more of that game. It was one of those games that was like, okay, I finished this and I'm never gonna see anything like this ever again because
It was weird.
yeah.
Nobody does first person adventure third games like that or whatever, you know what I mean? From a first person point of view. And that team, if you wanted more of it, it's out now. They've done it as Indiana Jones and it fits perfect again because it's not like Uncharted or Tomb Raider. Both two franchises inspired by Indiana Jones. Instead, it plays like Chronicle of Riddick, Butcher Bay, where it's first person and you do everything kind of through that thing. And it's amazing, as I'm sure you guys have known and seen the Metacritic scores. It's out on PlayStation early next spring, probably with some little, new stuff in there to make that thing go out, so people will see it there. And it launched the Tuesday before the Game Awards launched on Thursday, so it definitely, I think, is in the Game of the Year contention. IGN put it in their Game of the Year contention, but I can see why it was just too quick of a turnaround for the Game Awards, but it definitely deserved to be there, especially when you brought out the bones of Harrison Ford and then gave the award to Astrobot. So, and I hope that's why he was there. The Harrison Ford tie-in, this maybe for Indiana Jones throwback, but he looks like he's not that far from being in the Temple of Doom. Do you know what I mean? All right. Well, that was our things that we liked and things that we didn't like. And then the next segment, real quick, we're just going to go through a quick list that just highlights some of the games that's going to be coming out in next year, 2025, from the Game Awards. And 2025 is looking stacked, you guys. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the future playlist of games coming out 2025. I've picked about 5 different games that I noticed from the Game Awards that are supposedly coming out 2025, and I think we'll just go through the quick list real quick and get everybody's opinion on it. So first one up coming up 2025 I have here on my list, Elden Ring. It is. It's a standalone game, right? Here we go. Elden Ring Night Range standalone co-op spin-off. Okay, that actually sounds pretty great because as we all know, the first Elden Ring single player game. Do you have any? It was pretty big when it came out.
I loved Elden Ring. I beat it, I think 3 times, which is obnoxious. If you know Elden Ring. I was going for that platinum trophy. I got it. But yeah, it took a lot. So I haven't played the DLC. It's on my list. There's just a lot going on, but I really like the concept. I watched a video on it, and so from my understanding is it's like a drop-in game. There's gonna be different classes. You got different abilities. Everyone starts at level 1, and you go over 3 in-game days. So it's like night, day. Each lasts about 15 minutes. So the match is like 45 minutes, and every map is new. So there's never like a repeating map. I think the thing that was really cool is like you're never gonna be. It's not like one of those games where you can respawn, learn the map. This is like new environment every single time. Should be fun.
Yeah. I don't know, if you caught it at the Game Awards show too, but there is a Game of Thrones game that was also announced at the show. And I only bring that up because the connection here too as well. George R.R. Martin did a lot of the work writing for Elden Ring. I don't know if you knew that.
I did.
And there's to be clear for our fans, George R.R. Martin is the guy who wrote the entire Game of Thrones, which is, I think, in book form called a series of Ice and Fire. And it's what the Game of Thrones and the House of Dragons and all of that is based on. And then they use their style of games and his storytelling and they brought them together.
Yeah, the reason I originally got Elden Ring, and I'm gonna butcher the other guy involved in the project. Come on, brain. But yeah, his artwork in particular was why I enjoyed it. We'll plug in the creator here.
We'll find it and completely lock it in.
But yeah, I think it'll be a good one. I think they built a really cool world. And
okay, next game on the list, coming out here in 2025. Miyazaki. There we go. And yeah, but that's an absolute banger between 2 big name pop culture icons there, between Miyazaki in the video game world and George R.R. Martin and his storytelling, man. And his telling from how good the first Elden Ring did, I'm sure this is going to be an actual smash. Also, they have made it a point to say this is not going to be a live service game. So we'll check back in on that. Next game that I had lined up for the future playlist coming out here in 2025 was Mafia, the Old Country, which if you guys are looking at some of the footage that we put up here, looks absolutely fantastic right now. And it's set in 1900 Sicily and takes place before all the other Mafia games in the series. And it really focuses on that real, authentic kind of Mafia lifestyle, I think, in this one. It looks fantastic. It's supposed to be coming out in the summer of 2025. And a bold choice, making a Mafia game coming out the same year as Grand Theft Auto.
That is a bold choice.
What are your thoughts? E?
To be honest, it's a series I don't know much about, but it does look like something that would probably be fun. I love games that can be like a period piece. I would love to see like the world they build. So I really do appreciate when games can really create that like era really well. So I would love to see how they do it. But otherwise, yeah, I don't have much opinions about it, but I've heard great things about the series.
Yeah, super looking forward to it. I love them. They did a remake of the first game not that long ago. You can always find that out here pretty cheap. I think it's on sale actually right now. There's also a Mafia trilogy where it puts all 3 of the first ones together. And you can find that usually on sale a lot of the times. I think it's also part of Xbox Game Pass if you guys are on there. I'm not sure about PlayStation Plus yet, but it might be. It jumps back and forth on those services all the time. Part 3 was one of my favorite games ever. It takes place down in New Orleans at one time, and it's just like, yo, somebody needs to make a movie of Mafia 3. That looked amazing. And I'm super excited to see Mafia 1 because yeah, they've taken it out of America this time and it's back in the old country and it's got those old vibes. If you guys are looking at how it's playing right now, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Dude, Sicily at the formation of like the real Mafia sounds very interesting. I'd be ready to even watch a movie on something like that. So it looks really good. Okay, going on to the next one that we're gonna do. Yeah, so the third game on my list coming out in 2025 was Split Fiction. Talked about that a little bit earlier in the cast, which is again the game that's coming from I believe his name is Joseph Ferris. I believe I'm for sure I'll have it flash on the screen to make sure that it's right. Again, it's one of those games where you and another player literally have to work together to be able to play it together. There's no way to play it single player by yourself because two people have to work together. And I think it's really great. This time it's going to be two aspiring writers who wind up inside the same simulation of one of their stories. And each level that you jump between is a sci-fi world and a fantasy world. So sci-fi on one side, fantasy on the other side. Two players kind of coming to work together. His games are always super fun. If you've never played A Way Out, which is great. Two guys gotta work together to break out of prison. And then It Takes Two, which is a husband and wife that are going towards divorce, but have to work together to kind of come back and get out of their situation, kind of rekindle their love for each other. And it was a platform out, I think, a couple years ago. So really looking forward to Split Fiction.
I too was really excited by this trailer. Just got It Takes Two. It was like free, I think, last month on the free games for PlayStation Plus. So I think myself and my partner will probably give that a go and see how that. It seems really fun. But this one in particular, like I love the concept and seeing some of like the games and how they break up the different levels. It looks like an excellent game. And again, I am now officially a huge fan of their lead. I don't know if this is the director, what his official title is, but he is
It's Hazelight Studios, by the way.
Hazelight Studios. Well, I'm a big fan of that studio officially after seeing him on stage and hearing him talk. So excited to check that one out.
Remember, it's this guy.
Fuck the Oscars.
Can't play that. Okay, going into the second game coming out next, our next game coming out next year, The Outer Worlds 2. I know I talked about that earlier in the franchise again, so we're not going to beat it up here too much, but it is coming out from our friends of Obsidian. Since that is an Xbox team, that does mean it comes to Game Pass day one for free if you have that subscription. And I can't believe that this is coming out so soon after they did the first one, and they're doing Avowed in the same year, so a lot of RPGs going in on Xbox over there too next year with the return of Fable coming back, Avowed, now The Outer Worlds 2. That is, boy, when you spend $100 billion to buy some game studios, you get some games.
I'm going to have to buy an Xbox is what this tells me.
Yeah, I'm going to do another one into the talk of like, I don't think that you do. You may have to get Game Pass is what this is telling you. And I did write an article. I'll put it out on Rejuvenile too. That I think the best way for PS5 owners to get in on this might just be buy an Amazon Fire Stick and a Game Pass subscription account, and that way you can just switch it and have the best of both worlds right there for you.
And arguably,
also, fun fact you don't know, you can play Xbox Game Pass Ultimate Cloud games with your PS5 controllers out there. It does work. It's not workable. It's work.
I love that. We got the best of both worlds here: PlayStation, Xbox. I mean, but
all of the games specifically made by Xbox will go into Game Pass. So you play all your other games on PlayStation, and you can do Game Pass and get all of the games that are not there and have them both.
It's really the best of both worlds.
Rejuvenile, we're always taking care of you guys.
Yep.
Okay. Let's move into this last game here. It's another game that we talked about a little bit earlier in the podcast, also coming out in 2025, and that is the Ninja Gaiden Rage Brown from Dotemu. And right now, we're having a little bit of a resurgence on these games. Like I said, they kind of single-handedly restored the the whole brawler thing from the arcades when I was younger, a bunch of us were juveniles, Arrow 2, when you were in the arcade and you played things like The Simpsons or X-Men or Double Dragon. They have reinvented that genre by bringing back Streets of Rage 4, and then the excellent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. And side note, another Digital Extremes just came out with one of those games, the Power Rangers Reader's Rewind game that just came out. And I just bought that, and I'll be playing that a little bit too, so I'll give you guys a review on how that goes, but you guys have probably seen the scores on it. But retro gaming fans, man, we are eating right now. And they have to do something about all the retro game stuff that's came out lately. But what do you think about that?
I really enjoy the concept of doing retro from today's point of view, because back then they were making games like that because they had to. The specs wouldn't allow for more. But what some things that were like missed were like there wasn't the best storytelling back then sometimes. Now I think that where we understand how important storytelling is, I think there's something there that's added this extra layer in right now in the current time of like this retro resurgence. Is like it's not only like this fun, quick, easy, you can like put it down, pick it up. With the retro stuff, you're not like engrossed in this crazy open world, which I love, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you just want to get in, beat up some baddies, have a little bit of fun, and then set it down. And I think this is one of those great games where you can always just pick it up. I'm a fan.
Yeah. Big fan of everything going in on the retro kind of thing right now. And yeah, we are getting like the best of both worlds. And it's also great. Anybody, all my juveniles out there that remember what it was like going to an arcade, sliding that quarter in, and then like having all of your friends on the side of you guys, and we're doing that thing, and it brings that back now with today's co-op thing. So we're all playing it. You're still getting all the fun, but now I could totally do it sitting here in my boxers, pretending that I have pants on, and nobody's ever the wiser. Sort of like right now. Do I have on pants? You'll never know. I think that's a wrap up on some of the games that was coming out shown at the Game Awards for 2025 that supposedly will be coming out. You guys know how it is. Games get knocked back all the time just because they got announced from there. So we'll keep an eye on that. And anybody looking forward to us doing a full-on upcoming games list of 2025, stay tuned for the podcast with Juvenile Delinquency. We're going to be going over some of the things that we're looking forward to in the next year, and you'll be able to find that in there.
I just want to say, this is a lot of fun. I'm glad we were able to capture some of these moments. Really enjoyed it, and excited for what's to come with Rejuvenile's Juvenile Delinquency and all of this our mastermind project come together. So thank you everyone for joining us. Be sure to like our channel, subscribe, and hit that bell notification if you want to see more. We're going to keep bumping out content, reviews, interviews, how-tos. Let's unlock that inner Rejuvenile in everybody. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. You guys know you guys can find us in all of the usual places. Check out our YouTube where we put this video. You're probably watching it, but we're also on X. We're also on IG. We're also on Substack. So check out any of those and you'll find the links in the other. But join us for next week. This has been another video that we put out. And as always, if you're ready to level up your health, wealth, and relationships through play, hit that like button, subscribe, and join the rejuvenation. Until next time, have wealth, have health, and have fun together.
Get that nasty shit out of my face!